Hello Heather, it's Thursday, July 28th, and my camera is suspended somewhere behind my desk. Actually, I see my leg there on the screen. Good news, Heather! I decided to wear pants for this video. Of course, at this point, it's obvious that it's not going to go up on Thursday. This video on Friday by now. It's at least 12:41. So this will be a Friday. For all intents and purposes, it's Thursday, because we haven't done punishments yet for missing or being late. Coming to you in 3 parts. Thing number 1, Calvin and Hobbes. So once in a while, someone will find a great one, or mention it, and I'll hear it on the radio, or in this case, a podcast. I don't know if you shout the podcast. GamesRadar, great guys. I'll link to the podcast in the doobly-doo. Why are old pictures black and white? Doobly-doo. It is the most... It's amazing. I'm lying to my children every chance I get. I mean, seriously, they'll believe that. They'll believe anything you say. It's great. I'll enjoy lying to my children. I don't want to miss that part in life where all my explanations are packed, are gospel. Everything I say is believed up until like they're 3, and then they can just stare at their mother until their mother says that I was lying. I'm pretty sure whoever I marry will be more honest than me to our children. Speaking of things that we plan to do, like lie to our children, I saw a video about pre-production on video games. And it was just talking about how so much video games is a different monster from other things planning, like burping, darn burping, like making movies, and well, like the movie industry and like Pixar. Video games is a little bit different beast because video games requires programmers. So instead of investing time in pre-production, which only takes a small amount of people and not very much programming is of much value in the planning stages, so instead they skip planning altogether and lose potentially thousands of dollars without planning. And that made me think, what am I doing that needs planning? And then I thought, duh, Raymond, you're writing a novel by making it up as you go along. It's kind of stupid on my part, but kind of not stupid in that I would like to get writing done. Though, is getting stuck in the planning phase and planning too much. Such as my roommate, who actually has a high-definition video camera, which I remember the other day, which I should borrow to do these videos. But he bought the video but never went on and actually shot anything with it because he wanted to shoot sketches on the internet, like comedy websites. And he wanted to be funny. But he was stuck in the planning stage. He's like, we should make a site, or we could put it on YouTube, or we just need to think of some stuff, and then we'll take some time to film it. And we never got to the filming stage, despite all the wonderful scripts I wrote for us. The biggest thing is just doing it. We didn't take a lot of time to plan this YouTube thing, and I don't think a lot of YouTubers planned it in the beginning of theirs, and we haven't planned ours, but it's important to get stuff out there and get started so that you can get some experience to doing stuff, which is my thought of when I'm writing a novel by making it up. But I do want to, now that I have started writing it, I do want to take some time to plan it out, because as my last attempted novel went, I started out talking about wars and swore a lot, and it was very angry, and then by the end of the chapter I was on my way to the hospital with a coked up chick and a half drunk dude, and I didn't know why. My novel is actually on my DeviantArt page. Maybe I should link that in the doobly-doo. Doobly-doo! Point number 2. Rory Williams punches Hitler in the face. Doctor Who for me, I've loved Doctor Who. Well, by Christmas of last year, I'd watched all of it. I started in Season 3, which is where I suggest newcomers. Matt Smith is the new Doctor. David Tennant is my favorite. Matt Smith is the new one. Season 5, I hated. And the writer is more plot-focused than character-focused, and I'm definitely a characters guy. I don't care if the plot maybe doesn't make sense, or if you only solve it with the power of wishing. If the characters are well thought of, and I feel like the characters are driving the story, and the characters aren't just doing things according to the script to drive the plot, I love that. I love it. It makes sense. But no, Season 5 was all plot drawn. But Doctor Who for me has turned into Doctor does silly things, and once in a while, Rory does something amazing amazing. I love Rory Williams. He's the best part of the new Doctor. If they could get rid of Amy and just be on Rory, that would be great. And the preview for the next episode, the title is Let's Kill Hitler, and the preview for the episode is Rory punching Hitler in the face. I love Rory. It's gonna be so awesome, and it made today 2 parts awesome. And the third part of my awesome day was watching Bridesmaids. It's a weird thing to go to the movie theater alone and watch a movie alone where there are several groups, several couples, and me. It wasn't bad. Like, I would rather have the time after theater to talk about the movie, especially there's so much great things to talk about. One of the reasons why I saw Bridesmaid is, the first thing I heard about it was it's just like The Hangover. I'm like, okay, haven't seen The Hangover. Not exactly a selling point for me. But then I heard that it's really funny. Well, it is fantastic female dialogue. This might not seem very well, you know, considering you're a female and you probably have fantastic female dialogue all the time, but fantastically realistic dialogue. So many times in books there are weak female characters, and what makes a weak female character is she has nothing that characterizes her as woman other than superficial things like, period joke, or if all her dialogue has to do about a man, or the plot of a man, or liking a man, that's bad writing, and it's just superfluous through so much writing, arguably because most writers are men. But I heard that this had fantastic dialogue. I'm like, how often do I get to hear 2 women talking? And that's actually pretty often, as I recall. But actually, as most guys would probably try to avoid the movie, there's no over talk about shopping. There's nothing about periods, like, at all. There's no period jokes. They avoided that. And there's just, it's still other things. They just talk about problems. They talk about how they feel. Not extensively, and not to the point where you're like, oh, women talking about feelings for the sake of feelings. It was actually all very purpose-driven. Like, and I was inspired, and it was an awesome movie, and now I'm gonna do something with my day, like make an internet video, and not procrastinate it. But it's quite a wonderful movie, and just made my day awesome. Question of the day. Okay. I realized that you've asked me a couple questions, and none of which I've answered. I'll probably clarify my reading. I'm not reading The Great Gatsby right now, because I read up to chapter 6, and apparently the book group is going by chapters, so I don't need to read any more for who knows weeks. So actually, in the meantime, I'm still reading Lullaby, which is about a poem that kills people, and one man is so suppressed that with anger and anxiety that he does not need to say the poem, he can just think the poem and it will instantly kill someone. And he has to cope with that. From the writer of Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk. And the other thing I'm reading is Paper Towns by John Green. I don't think you've heard of him. He does a YouTube thing. We're definitely not stealing any idea he had. Paper Towns is about false impressions and a mystery of finding a girl. And a girl that no one really knew. Oh. Well, that's it for me. I'll see you what is technically today, but I'm going to say tomorrow for the heck of it. I'll see you tomorrow on Friday. And I'll have another message for you Wednesday when next week I get to do 3 videos by myself. You jump into the lake. Doobly-doo.